The story began when the hero's party arrived at the Demon King's castle, only to encounter a demon named Yuki, who told them they had to defeat him if they wanted to continue. The party's mage, Makina, summoned a fireball to attack him, but he wiped it out with ease and mocked her because her magic was weak. Then he saw the party's warrior charging straight toward him, but Yuki dodged his attacks and kicked him away. The priestess Cecilia used her support magic to strengthen the hero Yuga, who attacked him with his holy sword, but Yuki overpowered him with his dark magic, knocking everyone to the ground. As everyone lost consciousness, Yuki noticed Cecilia and was stunned by her beauty. But suddenly, his followers appeared behind him. They wondered why he had been staring at her, so he explained that he had only been thinking about what to do next, and ordered them to take the party to the nearest human village. Over the following month, the hero's party tried to defeat Yuki 13 times, but they always lost. Because of that, one of the demons believed they were weak. The Demon King wondered why Yuki had not finished them off, so Yuki explained that they did not deserve to die. He also added that he would leave the mission to his followers so they could carry it out, because he knew they were not strong enough to defeat the heroes, and he assured the Demon King that he would complete the mission. Yuki knew the heroes were strong enough to defeat the Demon King, but they could not get past him because he was far too powerful, and he believed he would have to kill them the next time he saw them. The hero's party challenged Yuki once again, and Yuga and Raven tried to cut him down, but he blocked their attacks and threw them away. Makana succeeded in hitting him with her fireballs, but they had no effect, and he told them they would never be able to defeat him. Cecilia strengthened Yuga, who charged in with his holy sword, and his attack created a massive explosion, but Yuki kept blocking it as if it were nothing. Yuga realized they had to get past him because their goal was to take down the Demon King. Yuki offered to let them pass if they left Cecilia behind. Yuga refused his offer, but Makana believed they should accept the deal because saving the world was more important than Cecilia's life, while Cecilia told them to leave without her. After they left, she attacked Yuki with her holy beam, but he blocked it and told her he only wanted to talk. Then he suddenly asked her out on a date, but she rejected him because she thought he was trying to trick her into lowering her guard, though she noticed he was not fighting back. He told her that nothing mattered to him anymore after she rejected him. He explained that even if he won, he would remain trapped in that room forever, and that the only time he was allowed to leave was when they went to attack humans, something he did not like doing. She refused to believe him because she thought all demons were heartless, but he revealed to her that he was actually reincarnated from another world, and that there was a human inside him. He knew he was strong enough to defeat the Demon King, but he had no desire to take the throne, which was why he kept clinging to his boring life. He said that only a month had passed since he met her, but falling in love with her was the best thing that had ever happened to him, and his feelings for her made him feel alive. She told him he did not have to trap himself in a boring life, and invited him to go out into the outside world because she believed he should use his power to help others. In the end, the Demon King was defeated, and the king announced a 3-day holiday to celebrate the end of the war. Yuki removed his horn and went to the Adventurers Guild in the capital, where he registered himself to become an adventurer. The receptionist, Kreeman, gave him a guild card and told him he would start at rank F. Then Yuki asked him to make sure he did not lose the card, explaining that everyone else would be on vacation for 3 days, so he did not want to keep issuing new cards. Yuki spent his day completing missions while thinking that he had to become a successful adventurer, so he could eventually stay with Cecilia. He returned to the guild to take on new missions, but Kreeman became annoyed because Yuki only came to him and never went to the other employees. Kreeman wondered who Yuki really was, because an ordinary adventurer could not possibly reach rank D in just 1 week, but he did not care much because he knew Yuki was not cheating. Cecilia arrived at the guild, surprising Yuki, and cancelled the mission he was about to take. Then she took him to her home, where the guards began questioning him because they saw him getting out of Cecilia's carriage. But she told them to leave him alone because he was her friend, and there was no need to cause trouble. Then she asked him to leave the guild, explaining that even though they had defeated the Demon King, the remaining demons would not disappear so easily, and the human nations would begin fighting even more fiercely over power and influence. She added that Yuga had received marriage offers from many countries so they could use him as a tool in their wars, and she told Yuki that if he reached rank S, they would try to recruit him the same way. She was worried that he might accidentally use his demonic power, which would make everyone see them as enemies, and they might even use him to invade the world without meaning to. Yuki explained to her that he had to live and earn money to cover his expenses and remain independent. She told him she would have gladly hired him, but she did not have enough money to pay an S-rank adventurer, and that the matter was difficult for her. So he told her he did not care who tried to marry her, because his eyes saw no one but her. At that moment, she realized she had been worrying for nothing, and told him he could stay in the guild normally without concern. Then Aqua, Cecilia's mother, appeared and suddenly interrupted their conversation. She apologized to him for what the guard had done to him and ordered the chief, Sophia, to teach them a lesson so it would not happen again. Yuki thought Sophia would only scold them, but she asked Aqua how many bones she should break, and at that moment he realized the situation was far more serious than he had imagined. After that, Aqua revealed that Cecilia had also received marriage offers, and that Yuga was one of those who proposed, which made Yuki a little jealous, but she clarified that Cecilia had rejected all of them without hesitation. Aqua understood that he loved her too, so she told him to marry Cecilia, but he told her that Cecilia had rejected him before, which was why he intended to propose to her again once he became a successful adventurer and proved himself. Then we saw Yuki apologize to Aqua, but she revealed that she had only been testing him, and told him he had passed the test perfectly. Yuki went to carry out a mission, and there a monster suddenly attacked him with its laser-like eyes, but he dodged the attack quickly and destroyed it easily with his electricity without getting hurt. He collected its feathers and was about to leave, but suddenly he was attacked by his followers from the days when he was a demon. They were surprised to see him there, and one of them, named Duke, asked him where he was going and what he was doing. The little fairy noticed that Duke was worried about him, so Yuki told them that he was now a human adventurer trying to start a new life, which shocked them deeply, and he told them to live their lives however they wanted. But they decided to stay with him and support him. He explained to them that it would not be easy because they would have to disguise themselves so no one would suspect them, but they were confident they could adapt, and told him they wanted to see the girl he had fallen in love with. Yuki took them to meet Cecilia, but he was scolded because he carried the wing of his follower Happy in a way that seemed a little harsh. So he apologized for his behavior. He was surprised by how much Duke talked with Cecilia, because he had been quiet before and not very social. Duke explained to him that the reason he had not liked him in the past was because Yuki had been withdrawn and did nothing, even when their superior ordered them to kill humans. Duke had once tried to force him to leave, but Yuki turned the tables and changed him into the person he was now. Everyone noticed that Chick and Happy were not with them, so they went to look for them and found Chick sleeping peacefully on Aqua's lap. Aqua told them that Sophia had taken Happy to the house, and when they went after her, they saw that Sophia had turned her into a maid. Cecilia said she was Yuki's friend, so Sophia apologized because she thought she was a new maid, and Yuki asked her to change that. But Happy actually wanted to work as a maid and was not bothered by it. As they prepared to leave, Aqua told Yuki that Cecilia had not had a chance to rest in a long time, but she would make sure she got a day off so he could go out with her and spend time by her side. The next day, Yuki met Cecilia and was surprised by how cute and simple she looked. He complimented her glasses, but she told him she wore them as a disguise so people would not realize she was part of the hero's party and draw attention. While the two were enjoying their time together and walking around, Yuga noticed them and started getting ready to call out to Cecilia. But Makana stopped him and told him that people would recognize them if he called her in front of everyone. Cecilia noticed them, so Yuga told her they had taken the day to go out and invited her to join them, but she told him she was with Yuki and would not leave him. Yuga wondered whether the two had met before, so Yuki reassured him that they had never officially met before. But Yuga grabbed her and took her to a store, then told Yuki he could join them if he wanted. Makana wished him good luck on his date with Cecilia and said that if things went well between them, Yuga might stop chasing after her, though she was not very optimistic because she saw him as ordinary and not as special as people believed. Yuki offered to buy her a gift, but Yuga interrupted him because he did not want them getting closer or talking freely. Yuki chose a necklace that he thought suited her perfectly, but Yuga bought the most expensive item in the store and tried to place it in her hair in front of everyone. By accident, he removed her glasses, causing everyone to recognize her immediately, and fans gathered around her in an annoying crowd. Everyone blamed Yuga for what happened. Then they quickly ran away, but Yuki was left behind alone in the crowd. While searching for Cecilia among the people, he met Raven, who was also annoyed by the crowd and the fans. Yuki distracted them and told them Yuga was nearby to draw them away, then took Raven away from the area. When they hid in a quiet alley, he told him to wear a disguise next time so people would not recognize him so easily. Yuki was about to leave, but Raven stopped him, and Yuki was surprised because Raven's voice was feminine. He understood that this was the reason Raven did not speak much in public. And Raven could not believe that Yuki did not laugh at his voice or comment on it. At that moment, he asked Yuki to become his friend because he felt comfortable with him. At the same time, Cecilia met a little boy who was crying because his knee hurt after he fell. She healed him quickly and took care of him, but he kept crying because he was lost and did not know where to go. Yuki arrived and told him to stop crying because he would definitely find his mother, so Cecilia scolded him for his behavior, which seemed a little rude, but strangely enough, that made the boy laugh and calm down. Then we return to Yuga as he searches for Cecilia anxiously, and Makina tells him they should go back because the situation has become difficult, but he eventually manages to find her and sees her and Yuki returning the child to his mother. However, he notices that Makina has left him and disappeared without him realizing it. We move to the next day, where Aqua told Yuki that Cecilia had fallen yesterday and suffered a minor injury, so Yuki thought it was his fault because of what happened. But she told him the real reason was Yuga. She said that after Yuga dragged her through the chaos, he went back to their house and wanted to take care of her himself, but Sophia pushed him away and stopped him from getting close. Then Sophia took Yuki to her room, and he apologized for ruining her day off and wasting her time, but she told him to make it up to her by going out with her again another day, and that made him extremely happy. He started speaking the way he used to when he was a demon captain, in an overly formal manner, so she began laughing at his style, but the laughter made her cough a little. Sophia thought he was unintentionally making Cecilia's condition worse, so she kicked him out of the room and thanked him for visiting and caring about her. He was about to leave the place, but he ran into Raven, who asked Yuki for advice about a girl he liked and did not know what to do. Yuki told him to believe in himself and take the step without fear. Raven thanked him and finally decided to confess his feelings, but he headed towards Cecilia's house. At that moment, Yuki began wondering whether Raven really loved her too or not. He started losing focus a little, but Raven came out discouraged because the girl he loved had rejected him, and he returned feeling sad. Yuki asked Sophia about her, so she told him that Raven had come to see Happy, and this made Yuki understand that she was the girl he truly loved. He asked Happy about Raven, but she told him that it was impossible and apologized to him in a strange way, and Yuki could not understand what she meant or why she responded like that. Then we moved to the night, where Yuki was talking to Duke about what happened, and Duke said that Happy was not happy about a human loving her, because people usually tried to take members of her kind and turn them into slaves or servants. He also revealed that he joined the Demon King's army after saving her from a group of humans who were trying to capture her. But Chick did not think Happy hated them, because she had agreed to work as a maid of her own free will. We moved to the next day and see Yuki go to the guild looking for work, but he did not see Kryman anywhere, so he asked about him. The receptionist told him that Kryman was the deputy guild master and explained that he was currently in the hospital. Yuki quickly went to see him and started asking exactly what had happened to him. Kryman revealed that on his wedding anniversary, he spent a long time thinking about what gift to get his wife, and time passed while he was still confused. In the end, he arrived home late for dinner, so his wife thought he had completely forgotten the occasion and beat him up. Yuki offered to heal him using his power, but Kryman stopped him because he wanted to use the opportunity to have his wife treat him herself and reconcile with him. Sophia arrived at the hospital at that moment, and Yuki realized she was Kryman's wife, but she suddenly kicked him in the head because of what had happened. She thanked Yuki for visiting him about Cecilia, and told him that she had recovered now and was doing better, but she was busy with many missions. Yuki asked whether it was important for girls to receive gifts, so Sophia told him that Cecilia would be happy with anything he gave her if it came from his heart, even if it was something simple. Then we see Yuki go to meet Raven again, and he mentioned that he had known Happy for a long time and wanted to understand the relationship between them, and he also wanted to know how Raven met her in the first place. Raven revealed to him that he had seen her being bothered by a group of people who were harassing her, so he crushed one of them and scared the rest, and when they realized he was from the hero's party, they immediately decided to retreat. She thanked him for saving her at the time, and he told her he was only doing his job and was not waiting for thanks. He became embarrassed when she heard his voice, but she told him his voice was beautiful and unique, which eased him a little. Yuki told him that Cecilia had difficulty dealing with men because of her past traumas and the experiences that had affected her. Raven thought she must have been startled when he suddenly confessed to her, so Yuki told him not to give up and to try again in a better way. They went to a store and Yuki bought a necklace for Cecilia after choosing something that suited her, and he convinced Raven to buy a hairpin for Happy so he could express his feelings. Maka asked them what they were doing in the store and why they were standing there looking so confused. Yuki told her they had come to buy gifts for the people they loved, and at that moment she understood that Raven truly loved someone. Raven refused to tell her anything and dodged the question, but she thought she was the reason because he had laughed at her the first time she met him, and she asked them to come with her on an errand. Yuki did not want to go with her and kept trying to avoid it, but Raven told him to give up because they would not be able to escape from her easily, so they went to a restaurant. They started eating quickly so they would not have to talk to her or open up any topics, but Yuki set his plate aside when she offered to tell him about Cecilia, because he was interested in listening. She asked him how far their relationship had gone, so he told her they were not together yet, and he also reminded her that Cecilia had received several marriage proposals, one of them from Yuga. Makana was not surprised that she had rejected him, because he always irritated her, and he was also extremely popular with girls to the point that he caused them trouble even while traveling. Maka asked Yuki about the girl Raven loved, but he refused to tell her anything and kept the secret. She said she wanted to help them in any way she could, and Raven told her that if they needed love advice, they could rely on Yuki because he understood more than they did. Then she told him that she had done something that made Yuga angry with her some time ago. She told him that when they were in the Demon King's castle, they were defeated several times by his guards, and the situation was difficult. Yuki acted as if he did not understand what she was talking about and remained silent. She said that every time they lost, they were returned to the nearest village, and they would tell the people they had come back to prepare more and strengthen themselves. Eventually, the village's supplies began to run out, and the people were affected. And when the opportunity came to sacrifice Cecilia and move forward inside the castle, she convinced everyone to accept the deal so they could continue their mission. She revealed that this was the reason Yuga still hated her to this day, and she believed Yuki might also be angry with her because she had put the girl he loved in great danger. But Raven noticed that Yuki was also at fault because he did not object at the time and simply let things happen. Yuki asked them whether they had honestly told Cecilia their feelings, and Maka did not know what to say, so Yuki concluded that he was not sure whether Cecilia was comfortable with the current situation or not. Yuki and Raven went to meet Happy, but they ran into Duke, who thought Raven was weak because he had come back even though Happy had rejected him before. He asked Raven exactly what his intentions were, but Raven did not say anything clear. Duke told him to leave because he could not hand over his friend to someone weak who did not trust himself. Raven said he did not know what to say to Happy and was confused, but Duke pushed him toward her and told him to say what was in his heart without overthinking. Raven gave her the gift he had bought and openly asked her to become his girlfriend, and she agreed, which shocked him and made him extremely happy. Then we saw Yuki looking a little depressed, and we learned that he had not seen Cecilia for an entire week because all the members of the heroes' party were busy with their missions. He knew that each of them had different work and pressure, so they could not find chances to talk to one another, and Chick was also frustrated with this situation. Yuki wished Duke were with them, and we learned that Duke was busy too because he had joined the Knights and now had responsibilities. But Happy arrived and told him that Cecilia would return home soon, and he would be able to see her. While Yuki was walking through the city, a fortune teller saw him and told him his luck was bad that day, but he refused to believe her and kept walking. He went to a bakery and was surprised to find that the shop owner's brother was working instead of his brother, and in the end, he stepped on the cupcake Yuki had bought and accidentally destroyed it. After that, he ran into a huge man who got angry when Yuki bumped into him by accident and almost caused a problem, and he also nearly stepped on feces in the street, so he felt that his luck really was bad that day. A child crashed into him and started crying because his food had fallen, so Yuki bought him more food to calm him down and make up for what happened. Suddenly, a thief stole his money without him noticing, so he ran after him and slammed him into the wall to stop him. But Yuga saw Yuki and thought he was the thief himself. Yuga began attacking Yuki without listening to his explanation, and Yuki tried to explain what had happened while running. But he was surrounded by the Knights and quickly thrown into prison. Duke told him to calm down because Raven was investigating the matter and trying to prove his innocence. But they were interrupted by a girl named Irene, who told Duke to return to training and stop wasting his time. Duke asked her to hand him the cell key because he knew Yuki was innocent and could not have done something like that, and they actually got him out. But she told him that Yuga wanted to see him himself. Yuga apologized to Yuki for what happened and invited him to a feast to make up for his mistake, and he revealed that Raven had scolded him severely for what he had done without making sure first. Yuga thought about how Yuki had been with Cecilia the day before and wondered about the nature of their relationship. Yuki told him they were just friends, but Yuga asked him for advice. He wanted to know how to get closer to her and make her accept him, which confused Yuki because Yuga was his rival at the same time. So he told him to ask someone who had known her for a long time in order to understand her better. Raven told him to ask Makana, but Yuga thought she hated Cecilia because Cecilia had surpassed her in many things. Yuki told him that Makana was not the one who abandoned Cecilia back then, and Yuga was surprised that he knew that because he had not even been present during the situation. Yuki explained that he had heard the story from Makana herself and said that the demon was the one who ordered them to leave Cecilia behind and go, even though they were forced into it. Yuga said he had tried to reject the decision, but Makana convinced him to accept the offer in the end. Yuga thought she would not have done that unless she hated Cecilia or saw her as a burden, but Yuki told him she had been crying while telling him the story because she felt guilty about what happened. Yuga still believed it was her fault and was not fully convinced by what he said. Yuki told him to face the truth instead of running away from it, because when Cecilia told them to leave, Yuga was the one who made the final decision in the end. Yuga was surprised and asked him whether Makana had told him that too. Yuki told him it did not matter who said what, and reminded him that he was the hero. So he had to face his actions and take responsibility for them instead of blaming his friends. He told him that Makana had always supported him ever since they were children and had always stood by his side, but he had not treated her well recently and asked him to think about what he would do now. Yuki advised him to let her discipline him if she was angry, because people discipline the ones they love when they want to repair their relationship with them. Yuga decided to meet her and settle the matter, but he did not have the courage to go alone, so he had Raven and Yuki come with him to support him. He told them to wait outside, but when he accidentally entered Makana's house and unintentionally saw her changing clothes, he panicked, quickly apologized, and told her she could hit him if she wanted, but she attacked him because she thought he had become a pervert and refused to believe him. After that, Yuki went to Cecilia's house, but he ran into the fortune teller again on the way, and she saw that his luck had changed and become better than before. Then he met the girl who ran the bakery, and she gave him a bag of cupcakes for free because she knew her brother had destroyed the ones he bought earlier and wanted to make it up to him. After that, he met the child he had bought food for before, and the servant thanked him and gave him an extra bag of food in appreciation of what he had done. Yuki finally met Cecilia, but Yuga interrupted them and told her to hit him as a joke. So Makana suddenly struck him and told him that this was not the reason they had come and that he needed to focus. They apologized to Cecilia for leaving her behind in the Demon King's castle, but she told them she had been more afraid for them than for herself, because fighting the Demon King without a healer by their side must have been extremely difficult. She knew that as soon as they defeated the Demon King, they had rushed straight to check on her, even though they had already been completely exhausted. She told them they had done nothing wrong, but they still insisted on apologizing to her so they could feel at ease. After that, Cecilia asked Yuki if he was the one who told everyone to apologize to her, and he told her that was true, explaining that what happened was his fault because they had not been on good terms from the beginning. He gave her the necklace he had bought for her, and she promised him she would keep it and never let it go, which made him cry from overwhelming happiness and emotion. Yuki and Chick joined Cecilia on a new mission, and Chick was extremely excited to ride the Karish and try it out. But Yuki was annoyed because he had expected to be alone with Cecilia and spend some quiet time with her. She started feeling dizzy from the movement, so Chick gave her a potion that helped her recover quickly, and she was happy that they were with her and taking care of her. They arrived at a village that had been attacked by bandits, and they began treating the injured villagers one by one. Yuki thought it was a miracle that no one had died despite the attack. The village chief told him that the reason was because a strange person had suddenly appeared and killed the bandits, forcing them to flee before they could finish their attack. Yuki noticed that Cecilia was extremely exhausted from working non-stop, so he told her to take a short break, but she refused to rest and kept going. So he used his magic without her noticing and forced her to fall asleep so she could rest. When she woke up, she was upset because she had been put to sleep with magic, so he explained that she would have passed out if she had not rested, but she made him promise not to do that to her again without her permission. Yuki noticed that they had treated everyone in the village, so Cecilia thanked him for helping her in front of everyone, which made him blush with embarrassment and left him unable to respond. The village chief joined them in the room and asked them to check on a girl named Till because she had been sick since birth and no treatment had ever worked on her. They went to visit her, and Chick gave her a potion, causing her to visibly improve right away. She thought it was a blessing from the guardian ruler she loved, but they did not fully understand what she meant. She explained that the guardian ruler was a statue located on the outskirts of the town, and the people worshipped it. She said she had survived the bandit attack because she had been carrying a gift to the ruler and had fallen asleep for a while on her way back. She also revealed that when she was 7 years old, a pack of wolves attacked her, but the ruler struck them down and saved her, and everyone found the incident strange and impossible to understand. She took them to the statue to show it to them, but they discovered that it was a demon statue, and she suddenly began coughing as if something were affecting her. Cecilia apologized because she had pushed her too hard and made her tired, and Yuki said the statue looked like the gargoyle from the Demon King's castle, which was what had made him suspicious of it from the beginning. Suddenly, the statue awakened and attacked them without warning. Chick quickly struck it in the head and restrained it to stop it. But Yuki stopped Chick from killing it because he wanted to understand the truth and learn the reason. The gargoyle apologized for attacking them, saying it thought they had come to chase it down or hurt it. So Yuki asked how it became the guardian ruler of the village. It explained that it had been created to guard an ancient temple, but it was stolen by bandits and was with them when they attacked the village. It struck them down to save the villagers, so they started treating it as a guardian ruler and trusting it, but no one visited it except Till. It said it had no intention of hurting humans and only wanted to live peacefully. Yuki decided to leave it alone and apologized for disturbing and frightening it. After that, Yuki sent Chick to the village so he could sit alone with Cecilia and talk to her freely, but he started getting nervous because he did not know how to start a conversation with her or what to say. She accidentally tripped over a tree branch while walking, so he quickly caught her before she fell, making both of them blush and fall silent for a while. The bandits suddenly attacked the village again, so Yuki told Chick to take care of them, and Chick began beating them without hesitation. Yuki joined the fight as well and started electrocuting the bandits, but one of them tried to attack Cecilia from behind, so Yuki shocked him at the last second. After that, they noticed smoke rising from the shrine of the guardian ruler, and they grew worried about whoever was there. Yuki ordered Chick to go check on it quickly, then summoned a powerful storm to wipe out the remaining bandits and finish them off. They went to the shrine, but they were shocked when they saw that Chick had been defeated and thrown to the ground. Cecilia said that this opponent was the hero of the castle kingdom, and his name was Miller. Chick said he had attacked the gargoyle that was protecting Till, but Miller thought Chick was stupid for standing up for a gargoyle, and he began preparing to finish him off without mercy. Yuki stopped Miller and attacked him with electricity, but Miller's sword erased the magic as if it did not exist. Cecilia said that Miller used a sword made by humans that nullified magic, and he had cut off the gargoyle's arm, so she asked him to stop before things got worse. She explained that if he harmed any citizen of their kingdom, it could lead to a major war, but he did not care at all, and that made him even more dangerous. Yuki attacked Miller with his magic again, but Miller cut through the magic easily and mockingly asked if that was all he had. Miller started attacking him arrogantly, not seeing him as a threat, but suddenly his sword cracked. Yuki explained that since the sword was made by humans, there was a certain limit to the amount of magic it could absorb. When the sword broke, Yuki punched him in the face and sent him flying away, telling him he was done. Suddenly, Miller summoned a magic arrow and shot it toward the gargoyle, but Till sacrificed herself and ran in front of it to protect him. Miller rained arrows down from above and Yuki quickly blocked every arrow, but Miller used the opportunity to escape. Yuki became enraged, transformed into his demon form, and chased Miller without letting him get away. He sent him flying into the forest, and Miller could not believe that a demon this powerful still existed, even though the Demon King was dead. Yuki flew far away with him, and Miller said that killing was fun for him, but Yuki told him he was not worth killing and threw him into the lake to get him away. Yuki returned to Cecilia, and she noticed blood flowing from his head because he had removed his horn, so she quickly healed him and was happy that he had returned to normal and was no longer in that state. After that, Till said she wanted to find a way to heal the gargoyle's wounds, and she knew healing magic would not work on him, but she believed they could treat him if they took him to Minorfa. Cecilia knew that monsters were not allowed to enter there, but Yuki said he had an idea, then reshaped the gargoyle with his earth magic and made him look like an ordinary statue. Till became a maid in Cecilia's palace and began adapting to her new life, and Yuki asked Aqua for permission to place the gargoyle statue there as well so he could stay by their side, but she refused because he looked ugly and frightening, which made Till cry and feel sad for him. Cecilia and Yuki were summoned to King Darts, who did not like excessive formalities and spoke casually. He wondered whether he could speak normally or not, but his guard Sylvia told him he had to speak with dignity in front of them. The king praised Yuki and Cecilia for saving the village and thanked them for what they had done, offering them a great reward. But Cecilia said she did not need anything because she had only done what had to be done, and that was her duty. Yuki told him that his wish was something Darts would not be able to grant, because the only thing he wanted was Cecilia's love, and the king laughed at his words and his honesty. After that, Cecilia scolded Yuki for suddenly declaring his love in front of the king without thinking, and Aqua told him that he was forbidden from seeing Cecilia for an entire month as punishment so he would learn his lesson. A little later, she took back her words and said there was no need for it to go that far because he already felt guilty, so she reduced the punishment to only half a month. Happy tried to throw him outside, but he noticed Chick sitting alone on the couch in silence, and he knew Chick still felt guilty because he had not been able to protect Till and the gargoyle during the attack. Happy took Yuki to his room and named the gargoyle Jar, but Till said he would always be her guardian ruler and not just a statue. After she left with Happy, Yuki realized that he was forbidden from seeing Cecilia during this period, and Jar told him to do anything he could to make it up to her when he met her again. Yuki went to the guild and asked Kremen to give him as much work as possible because he wanted to improve himself and become a man truly worthy of Cecilia. Half a month passed quickly, and Sophia told Cecilia that Yuki was working hard and doing his best, which made her smile and feel proud of him. Jar returned to his original body, but Yuki was shocked when he saw his body gradually decomposing, and he understood that it was only a matter of time before he disappeared. Jar asked Yuki to take care of Till because she had not fully recovered from her illness yet, and Yuki promised him that he would protect her and never leave her. He told Duke about the situation, and Duke told him that he could heal Jar if he gave him his magic stone. This surprised Yuki because the solution seemed incredibly simple, but the problem was that he did not know where to find it. He went to meet Cecilia, who took him to see Till because her condition had gotten worse. Chick said the medicines they had would only buy her a little time and were not enough, so Yuki asked him if he needed anything else. He told him he needed an herb called twilight grass. Cecilia said that this herb only grew in places with high mana, and it did not exist in Minorfa, so Yuki promised that he would search for it no matter what it cost, and Cecilia decided to come with him and not leave him alone. He said he also needed to take care of Jar, so Till asked if he was okay, but she said she needed to rest for a while. Cecilia said the Merchants Guild might have the things they needed, but on the way, they ran into Aqua, who told them not to worry about her, because she knew they were trying to take care of Till and trusted them to the Merchants Guild. But the receptionist told them that Twilight Grass and the Magic Stone had both run out, and there was currently no stock available. Then Kremen told Yuki that he had a suitable mission for him. Yuki refused to accept it at first because he was in a hurry, but Kremen told him the mission was to deal with a monster in the Magic Stone mine, and also revealed that Twilight Grass grew there. So Yuki immediately decided to accept the mission because it was the only solution. They went to the village near the mine with Kremen and Sophia, and planned to head to the mine early in the morning because monsters were more active at night, which made it dangerous for them. Kremen told them their target was the Rock Eater, which had eaten magic stones until it changed and became stronger, and because of that it was highly resistant to normal offensive magic. He said the client had asked them to bring back the Rock Eater's hide without damaging it, because it was highly valuable, and he explained that even though offensive magic would not affect it, they could still use magic in other ways to control it without destroying it. That day, Yuki and Cecilia asked Sophia if she really intended to fight in her maid outfit like that, but she told them it was a special combat suit her husband had made for her because he liked how she looked in a maid outfit, and it was also practical in battle. They went to face the Rock Eater, and the monster immediately began throwing massive boulders at them. Yuki quickly protected Cecilia, and Cryman used his Shikigami to destroy the rocks before they reached them. Yuki struck the monster with lightning, but there was no clear effect, so Cryman reminded him that he had to make sure the hide was not damaged. Yuki pinned the monster down with his earth magic, and Cecilia wrapped chains around it, but it managed to break free easily because it was extremely strong. Cryman said he would cover Sophia with his Shikigami, and she would enter the monster's mouth to attack it from the inside and weaken it. Yuki used ice magic to restrain the monster again. Cecilia wrapped the chains tightly around it, and Sophia jumped into its mouth without hesitation. The monster created small copies of itself to fight them and distract them, and Yuki's magic had no effect on them, so he started punching them directly with his bare hands. One of the copies injured Cryman's arm, so Yuki told him to protect himself. But Cryman said preserving the Shikigami mattered more to him than his own safety. The Rock Eater broke free from the chains and was about to crush Cecilia with a powerful strike, but it suddenly collapsed to the ground after being affected from the inside, and Sophia came out of its mouth after completing her mission. They successfully obtained the Twilight Grass, and Cryman told them they would return again tomorrow to finish the job, because it was dangerous to drive or move around at night in that area. When everyone fell asleep, Yuki tried to leave quietly, without anyone noticing, but he met Cecilia on the way, and she gave him the Twilight Grass because she knew he intended to fly back home and would not wait until morning. He quickly went to his room and treated Jar, causing his body to begin recovering right in front of him. Then he immediately went to see Till to check on her. He thanked Chick for taking care of her, which made Yuki cry from emotion, while she was happy that Jar's arm had healed and returned to normal. The next day, Cecilia and the others were riding in the carriage, while Sophia and Cryman wondered why Yuki looked so exhausted and worn out. She explained to them that he had worked too hard and had not rested, and in the end, he fell asleep on her lap as a kind of reward for his exhaustion, which was comforting for him. Yuki felt a little bored because Cecilia was busy all the time and had no time to sit with him. Then he met Cryman, who told him he wanted to buy Sophia a gift because he had not brought her anything for their anniversary. Yuki decided to help him choose, and Cryman revealed that he had actually already bought something, but Yuki saw edgy-style clothes and liked them, so he bought them because he thought they looked cool and unique. Yuki told Cryman to give him any mission he had because he wanted to work more, so they returned to the guild again, and the receptionist gave him 4 A-rank missions. But she did not recognize him because he was wearing a mask and had changed his appearance. Yuki defeated a dragon to complete one of the missions and brought back its heart with him, which impressed everyone greatly and made his reputation grow without them knowing it was him. A thief named Envy used magic to knock out some guards, while his gang planned to rob the place at the same time. But Yuki suddenly appeared and stopped them before they could escape. Envy ordered his men to attack him, but Yuki summoned lightning and struck them all down in an instant. Envy attacked him with his magic, but Yuki defeated him easily without even getting tired. Raven and the other knights arrived afterward, and one of them wondered whether Yuki was the thief because of how he looked, but Yuki explained that he had already dealt with them and ended the matter. Raven and Duke knew that Yuki was the one behind the mask, but they said nothing. As he ran away, Raven told his men they did not need to chase him and let him go. Duke looked for Yuki after that and told him to come back to his senses a little because his appearance was strange and unnatural. Yuki looked in the mirror and found that he looked extremely ridiculous because of the disguise, so he was surprised and laughed at himself. He went to collect his reward, and Cryman told him that Indy and her companions had been B-rank adventurers, but they went insane after finding a magic book in a dungeon and said they would ruin Valentine's Day and steal everyone's chocolate. At that time, Cecilia and the others were making chocolate for Valentine's Day in the palace. Makana noticed that she had made far more than necessary. Cecilia intended to give it to the orphanage and to everyone who had helped her before, but Makana told her she was supposed to give it to someone special as well. The next day, Till came to Yuki's room and gave him the chocolate she had made for Jar, but he became embarrassed when she started feeding him with her own hands in front of Yuki, making the situation a little awkward. Yuki went to the guild, where Cryman was happily showing everyone the box of chocolate Sophia had made for him. But he told Yuki that he would not receive anything because he believed no one cared about him. Yuki saw Raven and Happy in a room together, and Raven noticed him watching them from a distance. But he said nothing and ran away quickly to avoid the embarrassment. Yuki saw a long line of girls waiting to give chocolate to Yuga and noticed Makana, who did not know whether to give Yuga the chocolate she had made or not, because she lacked confidence and was not good at cooking. Yuga asked her to give him the chocolate herself, and when she took it out, Yuki could not believe how terrible it looked. Yuga ate the chocolate and found it extremely delicious despite its appearance, which made him smile. But the girls noticed him and ran toward him at that exact moment to give him their gifts. Yuki went to Cecilia's house, and there, she and Aqua told him that Cecilia had gone to the market to buy some things, and they gave him chocolate from themselves. He said he only wanted chocolate from Cecilia herself, but he still accepted their gifts without refusing. Duke told Yuki that Indy had escaped from prison, which made the situation even more dangerous. Then we saw Indy and her companions riding a golem, wreaking havoc in the city and stealing all the chocolate from people in the streets. Yuga told them to stop what they were doing, but they believed he could never understand how they felt because he was popular with girls and always received a lot of chocolate. Yuki and the others arrived quickly, and he told them to keep everyone safe while he stood against the golem alone. He told Indy and her companions not to explode with anger and cause destruction just because they had not received chocolate, and that the matter was not worth it. They told him he was just like them, but he said he had only received chocolate from his friend's mother, so they thought he was weak and not on their level. The golem attacked him with a powerful blow, but he dodged it easily and defeated Envy's companions one by one without getting hurt, beginning to turn the situation in his favor. Indy fired fireballs at him, but he dodged them easily, moved quickly, and attacked Envy with his magic, telling him he would not give up until he got chocolate from the girl he loved before the day ended. Indy told him that chocolate from someone who did not love you had no value, but Yuki told her that as long as the person's heart was in the gift, he would gladly accept it, and nothing else would matter to him. Indy pushed Yuki back with her fire, and the golem continued stealing chocolate from people, so Raven came forward, preparing to fight and destroy it. But Makana stopped him and told him they did not know what might happen if they suddenly destroyed the golem. Yuki decided to settle the matter quickly, so he burned the magic book controlling the golem, and suddenly the golem disappeared. While Indy was about to collapse to the ground from exhaustion, Yuga caught her before she fell and was shocked that she was a girl, not a boy as he had thought. She told him that no one accepted chocolate from her because she looked like a boy and people ignored her, but he told her he would gladly accept it from anyone as long as their heart was in it, which made Indy blush with embarrassment. Cecilia gave Yuki a bag of chocolate, and the others said they had received the same thing from her, but he was happy when he noticed that she had given him a special cake that she had not given to anyone else, which made him feel special to her. Kremen told Yuki that they had received a mission from the Merchants Guild because their goods were being stolen in a city called Fremil, so they needed someone to investigate the matter and find out who was behind the theft. Yuki was happy because the city was by the sea, and he thought about going there with Cecilia and spending time with her, but she was not available, so Happy went with him instead. Raven blushed and grew tense when he saw her, but he did not understand why she would be joining them on the mission. So Yuki told him she was extremely skilled in magic and not as simple as he thought. When they arrived in Fremil, Yuki went to speak with the client himself and told Raven and Happy to ask the people at the port. They asked a sailor for any information, but he did not know anything and said that even when the guards were present, the thefts continued, as if they were happening without a trace. He mentioned that the higher-ups thought the sailors were involved, but he assured them that they were not thieves and would never do something like that. Happy promised him that she would investigate the matter to the very end and would not leave it like this. He was surprised that she believed he was innocent without any proof, and he promised her that he would not hide anything from her, then told his companions to cooperate with the investigation. When Yuki returned to them, Raven told him that no one remembered anything about the theft, but the sailors said they had heard a singing voice before forgetting everything, so he thought a mermaid might be involved in the matter. Yuki asked them if they had seen the mermaid, and they panicked because they knew mermaids could kill sailors. But Raven reassured them that he would handle the matter and would not let anyone get hurt. After that, someone told Raven that he had seen the sailors hiding the goods in a cave, and mentioned that there was a mermaid there, so they had to investigate the place. Raven told her to stay behind because fighting demons was dangerous, and reminded her of the time they destroyed a village because of them, but she refused to stay behind and insisted on going with them. They actually found the missing goods in the cave. But a mermaid named Kate emerged from the sea and began singing with her voice, so they quickly covered their ears so they would not be affected. Happy began singing as well and cancelled out Kate's voice, as if she were facing her with the same power. Kate tried to escape, but Yuki trapped her with his earth magic and stopped her from moving. Raven threatened her with his sword, and she said she did not care if she died, but she asked for their help because humans had taken her friend. Raven did not believe her and thought she was lying, but Happy protected her, and Yuki convinced him to listen to Kate before judging her. In the end, Raven put his sword on the ground, and Happy dropped to her knees because the situation reminded her of her difficult past. Yuki asked Kate why she had tried to put them to sleep, and she explained that a human had ordered her to do it, saying that she usually stayed away from humans and did not like trouble. But one day, she and her friend Masaki were captured in a storm of humans, and they told her to obey them if she wanted Masaki to live. Raven thought she was trying to deceive them and said they could never trust demons, but Happy held his hand and asked him to believe her and give her a chance. In the end, Yuki decided to begin a new investigation based on Kate's words and uncover the truth. When they looked around, they noticed that the cargo boxes were empty, which meant the thieves had leaked the information to lure people there and use Kate to put them to sleep. Yuki asked about their hideout, and Kate said she did not know where it was, but Raven thought they would come looking for them soon, so he planned to catch them the moment they appeared and learn everything from them. When the thieves arrived, they pretended to care about Raven's safety and asked if he was okay. But he directly asked them if they were the thieves, and they laughed when they heard his voice. Yuki quickly started beating them, and when they realized they were no match for them, they tried to run away, but Happy carried them away and stopped them from escaping easily. After that, they rescued Masaki and returned her to Kate, and it was a touching moment between them. She sincerely thanked them, and Masaki offered to sing them a song as an expression of gratitude. They were worried about what might happen because of her voice, but Kate reassured them that she would not put them to sleep this time, and she began singing calmly with Masaki. Happy joined them because she refused to lose to them or fall behind them, and Raven apologized to Kate because he had tried to eliminate her even though she was innocent. Suddenly, Kate kissed him on the cheek, which made Happy a little jealous, so she moved Yuki away to leave him alone with Raven. Then she walked over to him and kissed him, and Yuki did not see what happened, but he noticed afterward that both of their faces were red, which surprised him. Till brought Yuki a message from Cecilia, and when he left, she immediately hugged Jar and gave him magicite to make sure he was all right and that nothing was missing. Yuki spent the day with Cecilia, and they stayed together for a long time. But when he got ready to leave, he asked himself whether he was truly happy leaving things to continue like this without taking any step forward. He met Duke and told him that after saying goodbye to Cecilia, he used his skill, became invisible, and spied on her to see what she did all day. He saw her training seriously with Chick, and he was shocked because he had not known she pushed herself that hard, realizing that he did not actually know her as well as he thought. But Duke told him he was strange, because even though he always talked about how much he loved her, he did not clearly try to get closer to her. Duke saw Yuki as a little cowardly and asked him whether he was happy staying her friend for the rest of his life without taking a step forward, saying it was hard for him to move while he still did not fully understand her. At that moment, Makana overheard them, so Duke told her to take care of Yuki and help him. Raven also joined them, and Makana told him to speak because he was the one who had spoken last time, but he said that had been an exceptional case and he would not repeat it easily. Makana agreed to tell Yuki a little about Cecilia because she owed him for the advice he had given her before, and she said the hero's party would not have existed without Cecilia. We also learned that they had a problem with the girls who admired Yuga, and Makana and Raven could not control them, but Cecilia was always the one who calmed them down and acted wisely. She also managed most of their behind-the-scenes work, and Yuki thought they should have divided the work instead of letting her carry everything alone. Raven explained to him that Cecilia had not done everything alone, revealing that he had been their cook and helped them in his own way. Makana told Yuki about Cecilia's huge responsibilities, and he was surprised that Yuga had done almost nothing, but they were still happy he was their hero because the problems he caused ultimately helped them in one way or another. Makana was about to tell Yuki Cecilia's true title, but she suddenly stopped herself and took him away as if she did not want to continue. Raven took Yuki to the orphanage where Cecilia worked as a volunteer, and the children there called Raven the Cold-Blooded Sword, so he told them that was his nickname among them. The children asked where the Holy Mother was because they wanted to eat the dessert she made, and Yuki understood that they were talking about Cecilia and that this was her title there. After they left, Raven told him that people thought he was cold-blooded because he stayed silent while fighting and did not show his emotions. Yuki wondered why Cecilia did not like being called the Holy Mother, even though she helped everyone. Raven told him he did not have the right to know everything right now and advised him to go on a mission with Cecilia, which made Yuki extremely happy because he thought that if he saved her, she might fall in love with him. The next day, Yuki was waiting for Cecilia with excitement, but he was surprised when he saw Makana, who told him that Raven had asked her to join them on the mission. She asked him to tell her his plan, so he explained that the mission was to eliminate the undead who had turned a mansion into their hideout, and that he planned to defeat them all so he could impress Cecilia and make her see him differently. She told him he was a little stupid because Cecilia was a priestess, meaning dealing with the undead was her specialty in the first place, and told him it would be better for them to work with her as a team to build trust instead of trying to catch her attention alone. Cecilia arrived with Happy, and they all set out to complete the mission together. They arrived at the mansion, and Yuki and Happy prepared to rush inside, but Makana reminded them of the plan so they would not act recklessly. When they entered, Cecilia used her spell to easily eliminate a group of undead, and Yuki caught several of them with his water magic. Then Cecilia finished them off with her holy circle without any effort. They reached the final boss's room and found the undead king waiting for them. Cecilia said he was not very strong compared to what she had seen before, which disappointed Yuki because he had been expecting a tougher fight. He ran toward the undead king, quickly removed his crown, and told him that without his crown, he was just like the rest of the undead, and was not special. But the king became extremely upset, and ran to try to get his crown back quickly, as if he could not bear to let it go. Happy and the others thought Yuki's behavior was a little rude, and the undead king wanted to show him his punishment for that insult. He tried to strike him with all his strength, but Yuki dodged his attack easily and kicked his sword away, so the king stopped and admitted defeat. Cecilia was very surprised by why he was so attached to the crown, as if it were the most important thing to him. The king explained that the crown had always been important to him, but he himself did not understand the real reason behind that attachment. Cecilia thought for a moment and said maybe it was because he had been a king while he was alive, so she decided to send him to the afterlife while wearing the crown, so he could remain in his form as a king. Yuki was moved by the calm way she handled the situation, and how she respected his feelings. Cecilia sent the king to the afterlife, but the spell took a great deal of effort from her, so she felt exhausted. Yuki told Makana and Happy to search around the mansion and make sure there was no danger before they left. Yuki offered Cecilia his shoulder so she could lean on him, but she was still tired and unable to walk properly, so he decided to carry her in his arms. She became very embarrassed by the situation, but he reassured her and told her not to worry, because he would make sure no one saw them on the way back. After they returned home, Yuki asked Makana for her opinion of his performance, but she was reserved and refused to give him a clear evaluation, only telling him to focus and do what he could without putting too much pressure on himself. The next day, Cecilia told Yuki not to call her by her title because she knew he had learned it from the children at the orphanage. He asked her why she did not like the title, even though he thought it suited her perfectly, and said that the way she treated the undead king reminded him of what happened long ago in the Demon King's castle, and that he saw her as almost saint-like. She explained to him that her title, Holy Mother, came from the time Yuga called her Mama in front of everyone because he was amazed that she could do everything on her own. Jar told Yuki that he wanted to work and rely on himself because he saw that Till was getting tired and he did not want to remain dependent on her. Yuki wore the mask he had worn the first time he fought Envy, and they went to the Adventurers Club to register Jar as an adventurer. The receptionist was a little afraid of them because of his appearance, so she called Kremen to help them. He quickly finished the procedures and gave Jar a guild card, and Yuki said they would come back to take a mission after finding a suitable weapon for Jar, because using his dark magic might reveal his true identity. The next day, they went to the guild again, and Kremen told Yuki that a girl was waiting for him behind the building. He was surprised when he saw that it was Cecilia. He tried to pretend he was not Yuki, but she easily exposed the truth and told him that Sophia had told her, so he explained that he had disguised himself so Jar would not draw attention. She decided to join them because she did not feel comfortable leaving him alone with something important, so they accepted a simple mission to find a lost pet. The clients were nervous because of Yuki's appearance, so Cecilia told him to stand behind them while she spoke, and Jar watched her carefully to learn the proper way from her. Cecilia gathered an accurate description of the cat and Yuki said the normal thing to do would be to ask the people in the area, but suddenly he caught the cat's scent and flew up to the roof at once. He found the cat, but it was a little aggressive, so he put it to sleep with his magic and returned it to its owner without any trouble. Yuki said they had to hurry to the next mission, but Cecilia told him Jar would not learn anything if Yuki did everything himself, and that he had to leave him space to try on his own. They went to gather herbs, and Yuki told Jar to take only the amount he needed so others would still have a chance. The next mission was to get rid of Jin, and Yuki intended to support Jar, but in the end he wiped them out quickly because he was afraid any danger might happen. While receiving the rewards from the guild, Jar said he would keep working for Till's sake, but he asked Yuki and Cecilia to let him rely on himself, and promised them he would not cause any trouble. After he left, Yuki told Cecilia that he intended to go on a higher rank mission, so Cecilia asked to join him, which made him a little nervous. He told her she was not ready for long-distance travel, but she proved otherwise by quickly putting on suitable gear. On the way, Cecilia explained that the mission was difficult because there was no village near the ruins, and they also had to inspect the place without damaging it. In other words, they had to avoid direct combat and use magic carefully, which was a major challenge, especially since the monsters there were strong. At night, while they were camping, Yuki thought that normally he would have been nervous about spending the night with her. But since he was wearing the mask, he had to maintain his character. He created a protective barrier around them and gave Cecilia the vegetables he had gathered. But she looked at him and told him to take off the mask because it was not proper to eat while wearing it, which made the atmosphere between them a little calmer. Yuki praised her cooking skills and told her the food was extremely delicious. After they finished eating, he put everything back in its place and said they had to sleep because she was tired from doing so many missions all day. She started lightly imitating him and told him how wonderful she was, which surprised him and made him smile without realizing it. Before she went to sleep, Cecilia remembered that she had rejected a marriage proposal from the heir of one of the lords, which King Darts had offered her, simply because she was not ready to marry anyone at that time. But Darts believed that was not a sufficient reason to refuse, especially since that man had great influence and could benefit the kingdom. The next day, Cecilia and Yuki arrived at the ruins, and she told him she would walk in front because his offensive magic might damage the place. But he told her he still had many spells he had not shown her yet, and that he could also sense where the monsters were, which would help them move quickly. As they walked, they encountered a group of monsters, so Yuki summoned his illusion orb to distract them and keep them from approaching. He told Cecilia they had to walk with their eyes closed because anyone who looked at it would see the thing they loved most. Cecilia laughed and said she might see cake, but she followed his instructions and walked carefully. They reached the end of the ruins, and Yuki was annoyed because he had expected something bigger or a stronger battle, but Cecilia told him to stop complaining because the mission was already over. They returned to the guild, and Cecilia handed the report to Kremen, who gave them the reward as agreed. Yuki said they had to throw a big celebration, but she told him to change his clothes first because he looked strange wearing the mask. They went to his room, but they were surprised to find Till there, and she asked them about Jar. Suddenly, Jar returned, and she ran to him and hugged him. He told her she did not need to tire herself out for him because he was an adventurer now, but she told him that serving him was the happiest thing in her life, and she would not leave him. After they left, Yuki took off the mask and looked at himself in the mirror, remembering everything he had done while wearing it, and felt embarrassed by his actions. He thought about throwing the mask away for good, but Cecilia told him she wanted to work with him again in that form, which made him change his mind and put the mask back. Yuki noticed that Raven was sad because he had not seen Happy in a while, so Duke told him to invite her out, but Yuki suggested they all go out together so the atmosphere would be easier. Everyone agreed and began preparing. Yuki noticed that Duke would walk with Irene, so he thought he liked her, but Duke explained that she was only there to help and support Raven. They went to the statue of the hero's party that King Darts had made to celebrate their defeat of the Demon King. Raven told Happy not to look at the statue, but she told him there was no problem because she was proud of him and what they had done. They spent a pleasant time together walking around the area. Yuki and Duke thought the plan was going well, but suddenly the deputy knight commander arrived with his men and heard Raven's voice. The deputy commander was surprised and said it was the first time he had heard his voice, then began mocking him in front of everyone, so Duke stepped in and told them to leave him alone because he was not on duty right now. They told him to enjoy his day and left, but Raven clearly looked deeply upset by their words. Suddenly, he ran off without saying anything. Yuki and Duke quickly began searching for him, and Duke told him that the deputy commander had a unit that was not convinced Raven should be their commander because he could not speak to them properly. They found him alone in an alley and told him to come back with them, but it was clear he was not interested. Yuki asked him what was wrong, and Raven said he had remembered just how weak he was, revealing that Happy had told him before that she had a secret, but she had been afraid to tell him. He believed he would not be able to accept it because he was weak, and he wished he had courage like Yuki. Yuki encouraged him and told him to trust himself and not underestimate his own worth, and that strength was not only in battle, but also in facing his feelings. After that, they returned to the rest of the group, and Raven apologized for suddenly running off. Happy told him there was no problem, and that she understood. Everyone decided to go shopping together, and Raven told Happy that he would do everything he could to become stronger so she could trust him and tell him her secret without fear. A few days later, Cecilia told everyone that Happy had disappeared and showed them a note she had left behind, where she wrote that they could find her in the forest after a month. Yuki and his team went out and saw Happy, who wanted to tell Raven about her true identity. Duke warned her that she would lose everything if Raven did not accept her, and explained that this would put them in a difficult position, but she promised she would not cause them problems. They understood this was important to her, so they encouraged her, and she thanked them for their support. After that, we moved to Raven, where the deputy commander asked how he was doing. Raven said he was fine, but wondered why the deputy commander was not addressing him with respect. He said he would not allow any rude knight to be deputy commander, and they understood he was serious and apologized for disrespecting him. A month later, Yuki and Cecilia talked about Happy, but when he left her palace, Aqua asked her whether she had told him about her arranged marriage. She said her future husband had arrived in Minorfa, but explained that she would reject him, and that she had only met him by the king's order, and did not want Yuki to know. Aqua noticed she had feelings for him, but she said that was not true. After that, Yuki saw Raven outside, but Raven threw Happy's feather on the ground and told Yuki to follow him. He took him into the forest and told him he had to kill him. Yuki thought Raven had rejected Happy, so he rushed in quickly. Yuki pushed him and used earth magic to trap him, but Raven managed to break free. Yuki noticed he had become stronger than before, and Raven charged with his sword, but Yuki stopped him with his bare hand and transformed into his demon form. Raven recognized him and realized his true identity, but Yuki stoned him and sprayed him with his black magic. Yuki told him he had no chance, but Raven refused to give up because he had promised Happy that she would hit Yuki for carrying her by her wing. Then Yuki realized that she was the one who had pushed Raven to do this, so he released him and asked her to come out. He saw her hiding behind a tree, looked at her, and scolded her for causing him trouble, while wondering how Raven had settled things with her. Several hours earlier, we saw Duke take Raven to a strange tree and tell him to talk to Happy. Raven asked her why she wanted him to come here. She explained that this place was important to her and told him she was happy she had met him. She showed him her true form and explained that she had been afraid he would not accept her, but he hugged her and told her he could never reject her because he loved her. She told him she felt the same way. Back in the present, Yuki began to get upset because Raven and Happy got the perfect ending, but he wanted to punish them for causing him trouble. So he bound them with chains and surrounded them with a barrier to protect them from monsters, but left them in the forest. Yuki returned to Cecilia's palace and told her he would be away from Minorfa because he needed to help Yuga with a mission. But suddenly, Raven and Happy returned and told her to hand Yuki over to them. She wondered whether he had done something to them, but he explained that they were the ones who started it, then escaped through the window. They ran after him, but he saw that they were happy, so he congratulated them for finally having each other, and they realized they owed him because he had brought them closer together. Then we saw Yuki pulling Yuga away from his admirers, and they escaped by carriage. But he told him he would never travel with him again because he always caused trouble. Cecilia's maids helped her get dressed, but they noticed she had a visitor. She met Makana, who wanted to ask her about healing magic, but Makana wondered why she was not wearing her usual clothes. Cecilia explained that she had an arranged marriage meeting. Makana was surprised, but Cecilia explained the situation to her and said she would not marry the man she was going to meet. Makana asked her about him, so Cecilia revealed that he was Soleil Graceheart, a member of the hero's party from Duxi Luminaria. 3 days later, Cecilia met Soleil, who knew she was not interested in marriage because she had rejected many offers before. He told her they could now drink tea and enjoy themselves since her party had defeated the Demon King. She explained that she had not done much, but Yuga still shared the credit with her. Soleil thought he was a true hero and said not all heroes were like him because some people were chosen only because of their strength. He explained to her that every nation had a hero's party so they could compete for supremacy, and she wondered why they could not just live live in peace. He told her he felt the same way and explained that he wanted to marry her in order to unite their countries, saying that this would prevent other nations from harming them. She told him she was not ready, so he understood her position and decided to stop talking about the subject. He explained to her that he had been living in Minorfa to learn more, and said wars could be avoided if nations understood one another. He asked her to teach him about her country, and she agreed because she saw that his intentions were good. Yuki and Yuga arrived at the mine, and the workers told them they had encountered monsters, but they could not kill them because they were far too cute. Yuga promised that he would get rid of them without hurting them, but he did not know what to do, and Yuki could not believe he had accepted the mission without a plan. While they were taking a break, Yuga asked Yuki for his advice about Cecilia's arranged marriage, and told him that he had advised her not to go through with it, but she explained to him that she had to follow the king's orders. Then Yuga spoke to Yuki about Soleil and revealed that he was a sword master like Raven, which made Yuki jealous, so Yuga told him to finish the mission alone. Suddenly, Yuki ran off while thinking about why Cecilia had never told him about her arranged marriage, then transformed into his demon form and flew away. Makana arrived at the mine and Yuga was happy she was there because he could not believe he could handle the situation alone. She asked him why he was not with Yuki, so he told her that Yuki had run away after learning about Cecilia's arranged marriage, and she wondered what he was planning. Cecilia showed Soleil the shelter, and he brought biscuits for the children, so they liked him right away. One of the girls asked him to carry her in his arms, but he did not know how to do it, so Cecilia told him to use his hand, and he succeeded. Then the rest of the children wanted to be carried too, so he told them to take turns one by one. After that, Cecilia thanked Soleil for making the children happy and asked him whether children in Luminaria were playful too. He explained that he did not know and revealed that when he was young, he had done nothing but train and study because he was the heir of the Grace Heart family. He said he never had the chance to interact with people, but he learned a lot while he was with the heroes' party and said he wanted to protect everyone. Cecilia told him that she knew someone extremely strong who always helped those in need and said she wanted to be with him. She took Soleil to his hotel and he thanked her for showing him around, telling her that he wanted to learn more about the country. That night Cecilia was sad because she had not been able to reject Soleil, and her face turned red as she thought about Yuki and wondered whether he was still interested in her. Yuki flew back to Minorfa, but suddenly, a magic beam struck him. He fell to the ground, and a masked man attacked him, asking if he intended to hunt humans in the city. The man introduced himself as the Blue Flame Monster and attacked him with his blazing power. Yuki flew into the sky and said he had no time to fight, but the man kept attacking, and the knights became tense when they saw him. They wondered what this demon was doing here and threw their spears at him, forcing Yuki to fly away. We returned to Cecilia, where Sophia showed her a poster, and Cecilia was shocked when she saw that Yuki was wanted by the authorities. Kryman sent a messenger to Yuki and showed him the poster, making him realize that the authorities were searching for him. The next day, the knights learned what had happened, so Duke told them to be on maximum alert. They opened the gate, and when Yuki passed through, Cecilia noticed that he was injured, so she ran to his side and healed him. But Soleil found him suspicious, so she explained to him that he was just an adventurer she had helped before. Soleil said he wanted to marry her, and she tried to explain everything to Yuki, but he apologized for disturbing them. He started walking away, but suddenly Raven and Duke grabbed him and told him to cooperate. We then learned that this Blue Flame Monster was actually the one wanted by the authorities because he had been taking all the easy missions and doing an extremely terrible job with them. Kryman said people had complained about him, so he asked Yuki to help catch him. Yuki and Raven began roaming the city so people would not think Yuki was the same person causing problems. Some people still confused him with the troublemaker, but he quickly managed to help them with their problems. While they were resting, Yuki wished they could catch the monster quickly and settle the situation, but Raven was also worried about the demon that had been seen before. He knew that Yuki was that demon, and Yuki explained to him that he had panicked when he heard about Cecilia's arranged marriage. He believed Cecilia had not told him because he was not important, and that he could do nothing because the marriage had been ordered by the king. Raven did not believe that, but Yuki decided to focus only on his mission. Cecilia was sitting there worried about Yuki, thinking about him constantly, and wondering whether he was still interested in her the way he used to be. But Happy tried to reassure her and told her not to worry because his feelings for her would never never change so easily. Cecilia felt guilty and said she might be the worst person because she had hurt his heart without meaning to. But suddenly, Sophia entered with news that the monster had appeared again in the city. We saw a man chasing a bag thief, and when he caught the bag, he burned it completely, as if he did not care about the item itself. He intended to deal with the thief, but Cecilia arrived, stopped him, and asked why he was doing this and causing trouble. He said he was enforcing justice and helping people, but she told him that, on the contrary, he was bothering everyone, and because he looked like Yuki, he was also ruining Yuki's reputation in front of people. Yuki suddenly appeared and thanked Cecilia for defending him, even if he was not important to her, but she quickly replied and told him that she did not see him that way at all. It turned out that the monster was Soleil, and he looked extremely surprised by Yuki's relationship with Cecilia. He had once seen her as his partner and decided that he had to defeat Yuki in order to prove himself. They moved away from the crowd, climbed onto a rooftop, and began fighting. During the fight, Yuki wondered why Soleil was copying his appearance, and Soleil told him that this had been his dream for a long time, and that he wanted to surpass him and become better than him. He had thought Yuki wore the mask to attract attention and gain people's recognition, but Yuki explained that he did it because he felt comfortable in it, and told him that every person had to walk their own path instead of copying someone else. The two were ready to continue the fight seriously, but Cecilia appeared at the right time, stood between them, and began calming them down. Soleil said he had only wanted people to see him and value him because throughout his life, no one had noticed his efforts, and everyone simply thought he was doing what he was supposed to do. Cecilia told him that he had to use his strength for himself first, and that when he did, people would benefit from it as well, without him trying to prove anything to anyone. Kremen arrived and interrupted them, telling Yuki to capture the monster, while Soleil began to tire and show signs of exhaustion. At that moment, Yuki performed a fake move as if he were attacking him, but in truth, he was giving him a chance to escape, and even set off fireworks to distract everyone while he jumped away with Cecilia. They landed on top of the bell tower, and Cecilia began remembering the first time she had seen Yuki. Back then, he had been someone who had given up and had no interest in living, but now he had become someone who wanted to live and enjoy every moment. She told him that he had changed many people's lives, including hers. Yuki was thinking that even if she did not love him the same way, it did not matter as long as she was happy. But even so, he asked her to go out with him again. She told him to wait a little because she needed to respond to the marriage proposal first, and asked him to meet her the next day. After that, we saw her meeting Soleil, and it was clear he had understood everything. He wished her happiness with Yuki, and at that moment, she realized that he was the monster they had been searching for. The next day, she met Yuki, and he felt that this moment was incredibly comforting to him. He wished it could stay like this forever, but he understood that wishing alone was not enough. So once again, he gathered his courage and confessed his feelings to her honestly. She looked at him, smiled, and told him that she loved him too, and that she had finally understood her feelings for him. And here, the story comes to an end, dear viewer. We hope you enjoyed it and had a great time watching. If you want a second season, tell me in the comments. And before you close the video, do not forget to hit the like button to support us, subscribe to follow more episodes, and turn on the notification bell so you can watch every new anime on the channel. Write your opinions in the comments and we will see you in new episodes. Goodbye.